What's going on, difference makers? Welcome back to the Difference Maker podcast. I'm your host today, Matt Calderoni, doing a solo one today because I wanted to hit this quick. You know, I've been working on, our coaches certification here at Molliteum because we're coming out with a whole new kind of coaching system, which is awesome. And I was going through actually today the lifestyle of a peak performer, like what these individuals do on a day-to-day basis, like how a peak performer kind of gets themselves into that state. And I was like, you know what? These 6 points that I was journaling out today, I was like, these are going to be pretty good actually for a podcast episode. It was kind of last minute. I was saying to Chris, I was like, you know what, just let me take this one and figure this might be a really good opportunity to kind of share this message. So with that being said, here we've got today the 6 elements that we really focus on here at Molliteum for having the lifestyle aspects behind a peak performer. So really quick, what is peak performance? Peak performance is when you get yourself to a state or feeling like you're in a peak state, meaning that you're in a peak mindset to go and perform. So at Molliteum, we've defined 3 things to be within that. The first one is being excitement. You have to be excited and really understand why you're there, have a purpose, have a vision. Think about it. If you've ever been into a performance before that doesn't feel relevant to you, chances are you're not going to perform to your best, right? You're not enjoying yourself. You might not like your team. You might not like, something going on. Regardless of what it is, if you don't have excitement, you're not going to get into a state of peak performance. The second thing you need is to make sure that you're certain of yourself and your skills. If you're excited, but you don't have certainty, the truth is you're going to be hesitant. And if you're hesitant, you're not going to go out there and perform at peak levels. And then the final part is making sure you have focus. If you have the excitement that you need, you have the certainty that you need. However, you lack the focus, what's going to end up happening is you're going to have displaced energy. It's going to be all over the place. You're not going to lock into the task at hand and execute, right? If you think about it, the best in the world, they usually just do 1, 2, or 3 things really, really well, and they just keep repeating that in performances. So to get into a peak state, there's 2 sides to it when we were going through the certification of what it is. There's a psychological side, but there's a lifestyle side. And the lifestyle side, I think a lot of people don't realize being a peak performer, like we say here at Molliteum, it's a lifestyle. Right? It's resilience is a lifestyle. Being able to constantly execute is a lifestyle. So we're going to go through the 6 things here today that we've defined peak performers as doing, or parts of peak performance, a lifestyle aspect of it. And your job is to simply fill in the blanks. What you have, great, keep it. If you don't have these, pay attention to what I'm saying because I'm promising you'll see a dramatic increase right away in your performances. So trait number one of a peak performer for the lifestyle aspect, what these individuals do, they're very time managed and prioritized. So think about this for a second. If you've seen any individual who's constantly, achieving high levels of success, these are individuals who have a pretty, we'll call it, planned out day. They have a pretty strategic day. They have a pretty consistent day. They don't say yes to a lot of things, right? They're prioritized and they know what really brings them value in life. They know what really brings them fulfillment in life. They know what really brings them, excitement in life. And as a result of that, they prioritize their time to do it. So if you're going to be a peak performer, you need to get your time management and priorities down. So here's as simple as you're going to do this. You're going to ask yourself, what am I currently trying to achieve in my life right now? So it could be in an area. We see 3 major areas in Molliteum, subcategories, categories, if you will, generalized. Then there's a bunch of subs. But if you look at these 3 areas, you'll be fine. So what am I trying to achieve with either my life's work? So that could be your sport, that could be work, that could be your career, your business, whatever. What am I trying to achieve or also in my relationships right now? And what am I trying to achieve with my personal side of life right now? So personal side could be like your health, your mental health, and all that great stuff. Your relationships could be like your love life or your social life, or if you're at that stage of life, your parenting. And then your life's work is what you're really building with your career and your business. So when you look at it, you have to ask yourself, what am I really working on right now? And the truth is, you're probably going to be focused in and scoped in on one specific area at a time, which is fine. And you need to go all in on it. Because if you don't, what's going to end up happening is you're going to find yourself with a lot of things that you've started, a lot of tasks you've started, and maybe you're here right now, but very few of them finished. So this would translate in the sports world, if you're an athlete, to I'm like 80% of the way there being a top, 3-point shooter on my team, but I'm not fully there. And I feel like I can't hit that final level that I want to get to. So you need to understand first what exactly you're trying to work on at this area or point in your life, I should say. And then you're going to ask yourself, what are the things I need to prioritize right now in order to do that? So great example. Again, if I'm going to be a 3-point shooter and that's my priority right now, or that's my major focus, I should say, I'm going to prioritize 3 things. Number 1, I'm going to prioritize my physical work because you have to physically go practice every day. Number 2, I'm going to prioritize my mental work because you have to mentally practice every day. And number 3, I'm going to prioritize my recovery and reload system, or my ability to kind of take a step back and just physically and mentally relax. Those are your priorities. And the truth is, once you have those priorities set, you're usually going to have about 3 of them. They're non-negotiables, meaning you do not miss them. When you set a time to do your physical, mental work, and reload work, you do not miss. It's that simple. This is what a peak performer does. If you think about it for a sec, you've probably seen this before, but have you ever found where like these ultra successful people that you've been speaking to, athletes, business people, have you ever spoke to them and it's like, they will say no for little detailed things. So it's like, no, man, I can't eat out tonight. It's not part of my diet. Or, no, I can't go out tonight. I need to make sure to get my sleep. That's what I'm talking about. Those are non-negotiable priorities. You need to have that if you want to be a peak performer. And I'm telling you right now, it's going to be a little uncomfortable saying no, but it's what it takes to get to that next level. So number 1, you got to have priorities and you got to have time management. Number 2, you need to be value driven. A lot of times we see performers who kind of drop off. They're very ego driven, people that don't really hit that next level. So what does ego driven mean? Ego driven means that because they're not abiding by the values that they have in life, which could be, my own personal value system here. For myself, it's dominate, serve, impact, passion, resolve. I want to make sure I'm doing that in all areas of my life consistently. I value that. If you start getting driven by your ego, though, you're going to start saying yes to things that don't align with your values, just to sometimes say you can do it. You've probably seen that before, been there yourself, right? Where it's like, I shouldn't have taken on that extra task or that project or, done that extra thing in sport. I shouldn't have done that extra rep, but I did it because my ego was driving me, not because my values were driving me. So if you're value driven and it's like, well, for example, with me, dominate. Let's pretend you have that as and you're an athlete and you have that as one of your values. And you don't really make it a point to say, okay, will this allow me to dominate or not? And you start taking action based on something that won't because you want to just prove you can do an extra rep. That's ego. Let that get out of the way. Be driven by values, and I promise you, you will be a peak performer. But you need to first understand, what do you value in life? It's very simply asking yourself, what values do I want to hold myself accountable to? What will drive my performance? So for me, dominate. That means I want to set the tone in everything that I do. With this podcast episode, with my companies, with my relationships, with my personal life, I want to set the tone. That's what I like to do. I like to be one of the best at what I do. Number 2, I serve. I want to make sure I'm doing what's in the best interest of the thing that's in front of me. So with this podcast, I want to make sure that I'm serving you on this podcast. With my relationships, I want to make sure I'm serving others. With my personal life, I want to make sure I'm serving myself, right? Then there's impact, then there's passion, there's resolve. I don't have to go through them all, but my point is, I live my life by these values, and you have to understand what values you're living your life by and do not break them. Think about it. The leaders in life that you really respect are often individuals who are non-negotiable about their values. Okay, so if you want to be a peak performer, you've got to be value-driven. You can't be ego-driven. Number 3, you've got to focus on the big picture, man. Listen, a lot of times we find athletes or high performers who make one day catastrophic to them. Maybe you're there right now, right? Where it's like, oh my God, all of a sudden I had one bad day and that's it. My world's going to blow up. Peak performers don't see it that way. Peak performers actually, even on good days, are always zoomed out. Meaning that they'll go in there, they'll dominate the day, they'll do their best for what's in front of them, and they'll give their all for what's in front of them. But when the day's done, good or bad, they zoom out. And it's like, that was a pinpoint in time, because they know, peak performers know, if they hang on to a day, good or bad, for too long, they're gonna drastically compromise results going forwards, right? Think about it. You've been there before, where you take your foot off the gas when things are going well, and it's like, oh my God, you're hanging on to that good day from the day before. Or on a bad day, it's like, well, I'm hanging on to the bad day, and it's like, I can't move forwards. Peak performers don't do that. They go in there, they give their absolute best for the day, then they zoom out. They focus on the big picture, and it's like, okay, did I take a step towards that today? Yeah, I did. Great, move forwards. And if it's a bad day, it's like, well, what did I learn from that? And the grand scheme of things, in that big picture of what I'm trying to accomplish in that vision, what did I learn from this? Well, I learned that I can't make this certain play on the ice, or I learned that I can't talk to a colleague that way, or I learned that, I can't do that in a sale. Regardless of what it is, you have to understand, peak performers think big picture, okay? Next, peak performers are constantly building their certainty. So where a lot of people are trying to train for results, peak performers are training to constantly refine their craft. So there's a great quote that was put out about Steph Curry. I shared this with a couple of our athletes the other day, and they said, Steph, so like, how do you perform so consistently? He goes, I don't focus on what everybody else does around the league, which is just results, results, results. He goes, I'm here to be a master craftsman. I'm here to make sure that every day I walk into performances feeling certain about my three ball and certain about my playmaking. And it's the same for you. You need to understand that a peak performer is simply only focused on constantly building their certainty. You need to make sure you have mental reps that you're utilizing or visualization. You need to make sure that you have at least 15 minutes a day where you're constantly working on a skill aside from team practices or aside from your work. And you need to make sure that you're studying some kind of film so that you can make sure you're doing the right things. You're watching others and seeing how they're doing it when they're already successful and applying it to your own game. So the point is, when you're a peak performer, you're not just going to work. You're going to work to constantly build certainty. And if you're not going to work to constantly build certainty and you get caught up in this uncontrollable game of just results, I'm telling you right now, it's going to be something that's drawn out for you. It's going to be something that's very, very painful for you. You're going to suffer a lot, and you're going to realize you're always chasing something that you don't have full control over. You do have full control over, though, like Steph, your skills. You do have full control over your ability to strengthen or sharpen your strengths. You do have full control over how you prepare. You need to put all your time and attention into that. Start working for certainty. Don't work to just get results. Yes, the results will come as a byproduct, but understand, deconstruct it, right? If I want to score more in a game, ask yourself, what 1 to 2 skills do I need to be sure of going into my games to do that? Okay. So that's another lifestyle aspect of a peak performer. Next, they only focus on what they can control. Kind of funny how this goes hand in hand, but it's true. Any peak performer that I've spoken to, from the great NBA players we work with, to the NHLers, to the NFLers, to even high-performing kids and peak-performing kids, they're individuals who only focus on what they can control. So let's clear the air. There's 3 things in life that you can control, no matter what area of life it is. We call it here at Molliteum the PAW, or preparation, attitude, and work ethic. That's it. You do not need to be putting your time and attention into anything else other than doing those 3 things very, very well. And I'm telling you right now, if you just focus on that, all the external problems start to go away. Think about it. The coach that's not giving you a fair shot starts to give you a fair shot, right? The results that didn't happen start to happen. The results you wanted, in the office start to come as well. My point is, though, preparation, attitude, work ethic are the only 3 things you can control. To keep it even simpler, if you're focused on a result and not an action that drives results, you're losing. For example, I'll never forget this. One of the best things that I witnessed change was with one of our NBA players, Kyle Kuzma, when he was playing in this past season. And he changed the focus from scoring to instead changing the focus to shooting a better 3-ball in a certain area. With, another one of our athletes, DJ Reed, it changed from him in the NFL from, okay, I'm going to try and get a pick, to I'm going to make sure I have great eye discipline. My point is, though, when you start focusing on actions, the results come as a result of that, right? Peak performing individuals only focus on what they can control. Preparation, attitude, work ethic. Heck, I even see it with our company. When I start focusing on the sales script and not the closing of the sale, everything changes, right? Because it's actions that drive results, not just results itself. It's not just getting lost in that. And finally, number 6 that I have here written down, you can literally hear if you're tuning in or see on YouTube. If you're watching this, flipping the page of my journal, but they're solution-oriented people. Look, peak performers don't complain. It's that simple. They realize what they can control. They go all in on it. But most importantly, they're solution-oriented. So where a lot of people congregate around their local watering holes and talk about the problems that they're experiencing, peak-performing individuals realize 5% of the time they need to spend on the problem, and 95% of the time they spend on the solution. So if you'll notice it, and I've been in the room before with high-level athletes and high-level business professionals, but it's a very solution-oriented room. It's constant conversations being had about how this can be better, how that can be better, how they feel they can tweak this part of performance to be better on that side, how they feel they can make that little detailed change to be better here. It's not a big kind of powwow of, look how bad this is, look how bad that is, look at this problem in the world, that one. It's, hey, this is the reality. There's a problem there. Here's my solution, though. Here are my step-by-steps. And I'm telling you right now, if you're somebody that constantly gets caught in dwelling on the past, in dwelling on problems and not picking it up, that's probably why you're not a peak performer, realistically. And I'm not trying to be rude. It's just the truth, because it's like if you can snap that and realize, okay, 5% on the problem, 95% on the solution, everything will change for you. You just have to make that shift and that conscious effort to shift your focus on it. So a quick little recap. Number 1, if you want to be a peak performer, number 1, make sure that you have priorities and you're managing your time. Number 2, make sure you're value driven and you abide by those values. That's who is respected in this world. The leaders that are respected. Do not go off of ego. Don't just do something and say yes to something because you want to prove it. Be value driven. You're going to compromise performances with that. Number 3, make sure you're focused on the big picture. There's no good day or bad day that's ever just written off an entire year or made that whole thing come to life. Just remember, when the day's done, the day's done. You need to go do it again the next day. If it was an off day, realize what you can learn from it in the grand scheme of things. If it was a great day, do the same. What can you learn from it? Then go do it again. Just remember, zoom out at the end of every day, look at everything on what it is, and realize there's a big picture there. Number 4, constantly work on building your certainty, or AKA refining your skills consistently that drive results. Number 5, make sure that you're focused on what you can control: preparation, attitude, work ethic, and action-driven things. And finally, number 6, make sure that you're solution-oriented. Stop just focusing on problems. Does that sound good? So, with that being said, please, if you got some value from this, it's not like we go out and do a bunch of advertising for this podcast or we do anything like that. We simply just ask that if it impacted you in some way, shape, or form, please share it with somebody else because it can change someone else's life, whether or not you know it. And of course, it supports the channel. We're doing this for free for you to bring you extra value. If you want to work with us, you can click the links down below. We have applications for our coaching programs. We also have applications if you want to work with the Molliteum Pocket Coach. It's all there, but we've got some stuff for you. So make sure to take a look and check it out. So with that being said, one more reminder, please like, subscribe, click the notification bell, share this. It helps so many people, whether or not you know it, and make sure to help this channel grow. Oh, and if you can, please leave a review. It helps us grow in the algorithm. It helps us grow in the rankings. And most importantly, we want to be at the top charts. Remember, I like to dominate. That's how we do this. So with that being said, we'll see you in the next one.